Last night you went to bed feeling completely normal. Maybe you read a bit, closed the windows, turned off the light, and rested your head on the pillow with the confidence of someone who believes sleep is a passive and safe process. You didn't feel chest pain. You didn't have that pressure in your arm. There were no dizzy spells and no warning signs that would make you suspect something was wrong. And yet, as your eyes closed and your consciousness faded, your brain could have begun a silent struggle to receive a single drop of oxygen, not because of some rapidly developing degenerative disease that appeared overnight, not because of a medication side effect, but because of the exact geometric arrangement in which your neck, your head, and your spine rested for 8 straight hours. I need you to hear these words with an attention that borders on vital, because what I'm about to reveal has nothing to do with the diet you follow or how many steps you took in the park today. It's something your primary care doctor has probably never discussed during your routine checkups. According to rigorous data from the American Heart Association and multiple neurology units worldwide, the risk of suffering a stroke or major cardiovascular event is not uniform throughout the day. It has a terrifying spike, increasing by 49% between 6 in the morning and noon. That phenomenon is known as the morning peak, driven by a natural surge of cortisol and adrenaline that elevates blood pressure to wake us. But here's the secret nobody tells you. What happens in the 8 hours before, the way your body recovered or was stressed while you slept, determines whether your arteries can withstand that impact or whether they'll give way under the pressure. I'm Dr. Kerlem. I've spent more than 2 decades on the front lines of clinical cardiology, analyzing EKGs, performing ultrasounds, and most importantly, listening to patients over 60. I've spent years reviewing research on the intersection between neurology and the cardiovascular system, and I've identified a pattern that conventional medicine, in its rush to prescribe pills, tends to ignore: the way you sleep, the angle of your neck, the direction your body faces, the alignment of your spine is actively influencing how much oxygenated blood reaches your neurons every night. Before you think, "I've slept this way my whole life and nothing's happened to me," let me tell you something with the frankness of someone who's seen the consequences in an emergency room. Your body at 65 is not the same as it was at 25. In the sections ahead, I'm going to break down 6 critical positioning errors, ranked from simply damaging to what I consider genuinely dangerous for anyone with a history of vascular problems. At the end, I'll give you 2 evidence-backed protocols that your heart and brain will thank you for tomorrow. But before we go deeper, do me a favor. Write in the comments right now whether you usually sleep on your back, on your side, or on your stomach. Your answer is crucial because I'm going to reference each of these positions, and understanding your current habit will help you apply what's coming more effectively. The vascular biology of aging. For this to make sense, we need to talk about the biology of aging blood vessels. Imagine your arteries are irrigation hoses. When you're young, those hoses are made of new rubber, incredibly elastic. You can bend them, step on them, or twist them, and the hose simply adapts while maintaining flow. If you sleep in an awkward position at 20, you wake up with a stiff neck, and that's it. But after age 60, arterial walls begin a natural process of stiffening called arteriosclerosis. Those hoses now resemble old PVC pipes. If you bend a rigid pipe, it doesn't adapt. It obstructs or cracks. Additionally, your blood pressure regulation system, which should be like a precision thermostat, becomes slower with age. During healthy sleep, we experience what doctors call nocturnal dipping, a 10 to 20% drop in blood pressure that allows your heart to rest. It's the repair window. But if your sleep position compresses the wrong blood vessels or restricts your airways, that protective dip gets interrupted. Your body interprets that restriction as a threat. It fires up your sympathetic nervous system, and your blood pressure, instead of dropping, stays elevated or even rises. You're spending the night in a fight or flight state without knowing it. With this framework in mind, let's analyze the errors. Error number 1, sleeping completely flat with no head elevation. The first error, and perhaps the most deceptive of all, is sleeping completely flat with no elevation in your head. It sounds logical, right? Many mattress companies or even some physical therapists suggest the spine should be perfectly horizontal. but there's a piece of the puzzle they're not showing you. When you lie completely flat, especially after age 60, blood and other fluids don't distribute the way they do in a younger body. Without gravity working in your favor, cerebrospinal fluid and that fluid cushioning your brain can start to pool. Intracranial pressure rises subtly. Imagine your brain is a sponge inside a closed box. If the pressure inside the box increases, even slightly, over 7 or 8 hours, the small blood vessels feeding your neurons get compressed. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine demonstrated that even a modest elevation of just 6 degrees achieved measurable improvements in intracranial pressure and nocturnal blood flow dynamics. Have you ever woken at 3 in the morning with a dull headache, maybe behind your eyes or at the base of your skull? You probably thought, just getting old, or I need to drink more water, but that headache is your brain's language telling you that internal pressure has been too high for hours. It's not a minor annoyance. It's a cardiovascular cry for help. Error number 2, the extreme fetal position. The second error is the extreme fetal position, where your knees come almost to your chest and your chin sinks toward your sternum. It's a position we seek for warmth and security. Very common when we're cold or anxious, but physiologically, you're creating a perfect storm. First, your lungs are compressed. Your ribcage can't expand fully, which reduces the volume of air you inhale with each breath. Second, you're bending the arteries in your groin and behind your knees, making it harder for blood to return from your legs to your heart. And third, your neck is in forced flexion. If you multiply that oxygen reduction by every breath over 8 hours of sleep, you'll realize your brain is receiving a fraction of the oxygen it needs for its nighttime cleanup processes. The result is that chronic fatigue you feel when waking up, that sense that even though you were in bed for 10 hours, you haven't rested at all. If you recognize yourself in this, write a number 2 in the comments. It helps me know how many of you are stuck in this compression position. Error number 3. Too many pillows. The third error is one committed with the best intentions, stacking too many pillows. Many people dealing with acid reflux or snoring try to elevate themselves using 3 or 4 large pillows. The problem is this doesn't elevate your torso, it only flexes your neck forward. In medicine, we call this excessive cervical flexion. By doing this, you're mechanically compressing the vertebral arteries that run through the bones of your neck, the ones responsible for irrigating your brainstem, the area controlling vital functions like breathing and heart rhythm. But there's something else. You're also obstructing your internal jugular vein. If arteries are the incoming pipes, veins are the drainage. If you flex your neck forward, the drainage gets blocked. Blood used and loaded with metabolic waste can't exit your brain easily. Your brain becomes waterlogged in its own byproducts. This doesn't just increase long-term stroke risk from inflammatory buildup, it accelerates cognitive decline. The solution isn't more pillows, it's uniform torso elevation, which we'll discuss shortly. Before we continue, tell me, how many pillows are you using right now? 1, 2, or more? Error number 4. Sleeping on your right side if you have hypertension. The fourth error is sleeping on your right side when you have a history of high blood pressure or heart problems. I know this may sound strange because we're always told sleeping on your side is good, but anatomy isn't symmetrical. Your heart is angled toward the left, and your inferior vena cava, the largest vein in your body that returns blood from your legs and abdomen to your heart, runs down the right side of your spine. When you sleep on your right side, the weight of your own body and your internal organs presses that vein. Blood return becomes more difficult. Your heart has to work like a pump, trying to suck water through a partially crushed tube. For a young person, this is irrelevant. The body compensates. But for someone 65 years old whose heart already has some stiffness or enlargement, that extra nocturnal strain is like forcing an old car to climb a hill for 8 hours straight. The cumulative wear is real. In fact, research in the European Journal of Heart Failure has observed that heart failure patients instinctively avoid their right side because their bodies detect the discomfort before their minds understand it. Listen to your instinct. Don't force your right side if you feel your breathing become labored. Error number 5, sleeping on your stomach. The fifth error is, in my opinion, the most mechanically dangerous. Sleeping on your stomach, or what we call prone position. It's physically impossible to sleep with your face buried in the pillow, so to breathe, you must rotate your neck nearly 90 degrees to one side. Holding that extreme rotation for hours is like stepping on a garden hose and leaving it that way all night. You're twisting your carotid and vertebral arteries. In clinical cardiology, we know many ischemic strokes happen because slow blood flow allows small clots to form, or the twisting itself dislodges a small calcium plaque that was already there. Additionally, sleeping on your stomach prevents your rib cage from moving freely, forcing your breathing muscles to fight against your own body weight just to inhale. It's metabolically the most expensive way to sleep. If you're a chronic stomach sleeper, this should be the first thing you try to change today. Error number 6, late eating or alcohol before bed. The 6th error combines position with what you do right before sleep, eating late or consuming alcohol. Many adults over 60 enjoy a late dinner or a glass of wine to wind down. Here's the danger. After a large meal, your body shunts a massive amount of blood to your digestive system. In a young body, your circulatory system handles this without problems. But in an older body, this can cause what we call postprandial hypotension. If you lie down right afterward, your brain has to compete with your stomach for blood supply, and if you add alcohol, the situation worsens. Alcohol is a vasodilator that initially lowers pressure, but then causes a rebound effect. During the early morning hours, your blood pressure begins oscillating wildly up and down as your body tries to metabolize the toxin. Those pressure swings in arteries that are already rigid are the perfect trigger for a rupture or a vascular blockage. If you've ever woken at 2 in the morning with your heart pounding in your chest and breaking out in a sweat, it wasn't just a bad dream. It was your vascular system trying to stabilize itself after a pressure collapse. The solution: 2 evidence-backed protocols. Now that we've exposed the dangers, let's talk about solutions. I don't want you to feel scared. I want you to feel empowered. You have complete control over how you position your body tonight. The first protocol is adopting the golden position, left lateral decubitus. Sleeping on your left side is the most science-backed position for cardiovascular and neurological health in older adults. When you're on your left side, your inferior vena cava stays completely open, facilitating blood return to your heart. But what's most fascinating is what happens in your brain. About a decade ago, scientists discovered the glymphatic system, a network of channels that activates only during deep sleep to flush metabolic waste, like beta amyloid protein associated with Alzheimer's. It's been shown this cleanup is significantly more efficient when we sleep on our side, specifically the left side, because of the symmetry of venous drainage. To maintain this position without rolling, I recommend using a long body pillow in front of you and a firm pillow between your knees. This stabilizes your pelvis and prevents you from ending up on your stomach. The second protocol is for those who simply can't sleep on their side because of hip or shoulder pain, 15 to 30 degree elevation. It's not about putting more pillows under your head. It's about elevating your entire torso. You can achieve this with a firm foam wedge pillow or by elevating the head of your bed about 6 inches. This incline uses gravity to help blood move away from your head, reduces pressure inside your skull, and keeps your airways much more open, dramatically decreasing sleep apnea risk. Another major stroke risk factor is what aerospace medicine calls reduced gravity positioning, where stress on your circulatory system is minimal. Beyond position, your environment matters. Keep your bedroom cool between 64 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Excessive heat prevents your core body temperature from dropping, which is necessary for entering deep sleep stages where vascular repair occurs. Turn off screens 1 hour before bed. Blue light inhibits melatonin, and without melatonin, your brain's cleanup system doesn't receive the signal to start working. The final message. I want you to take home this clear message. The risk of a cardiovascular event doesn't take a break when you do. The hours you spend between midnight and dawn are in many ways the most critical hours of your biological day. You have in your hands a free and powerful intervention tool. It's not a pill that takes weeks to work. It's a change you can implement tonight. Pick one thing from what we've discussed. Maybe it's switching to your left side or getting rid of that stack of pillows bending your neck. Do it today. Don't wait for a more serious warning sign, because sometimes in cardiology, The first warning sign is also the last. Share this video with your partner, your siblings, or those friends always complaining about waking up exhausted. You might be giving them the information your doctor never had time to explain. Your experience matters too. If you implement these changes and notice your headaches disappear, your energy improves, or your mornings feel less heavy, come back and tell us. Your experience can be the motivation someone else needs to save their own health. Before I close, I must fulfill my professional responsibility. This video is purely educational and informational. Though I'm a cardiologist, these recommendations don't constitute a diagnosis or personalized medical treatment. Every body is unique with its own baseline conditions. If you suffer from severe heart failure, diagnosed obstructive sleep apnea, serious neck problems, or any warning symptoms like chest pain or difficulty breathing, it's imperative you consult your specialist before making significant sleep habit changes. Never ignore your in-person doctor's advice or delay a consultation because of something you heard on the internet. Preventive medicine is powerful, but it must be applied with prudence. I'm Dr. Kerlem. Guard your posture, protect your blood flow, and most importantly, rest intelligently.